First of all, on behalf of RUSI, let me offer my thanks to all of you for coming here this evening for this excellent meal. I'm particularly delighted to introduce our speaker for this evening, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Martin Dempsey. General Dempsey, as you'll know, has been chairman since, I guess, October. He may feel that that's an awful long time ago, and I'm glad to say that we welcomed him to RUSI in the summer at our land warfare conference when everyone was congratulating him on just being announced as Chairman of the Joint Chiefs. At the time he visited us, he was Chief of Staff of the Army, and of course before that he'd been Commander of TRADOC, the Training and Doctrine Command, and before that the Deputy and then the Commander of CENTCOM. He's served in Iraq on 2 occasions. He commanded the 1st Armoured Division, which at the time, with all its various bits and pieces added to it, was the biggest armoured division that the US Army had ever fielded. And he has, of course, a very distinguished combat record. It is a delight to introduce him tonight, both as a friend of our institute and, of course, as a great friend of our country. He is a great combat leader. He is a great commander, but I think he's also proved in the last couple of months that he's also a great general, in the sense that generals have to be really good at a whole range of things when they get to the very top of their particular profession. He is at the absolute top of his profession, and it is great that he could come here to honour this particular event. He can't be here for the meeting itself tomorrow, but we are delighted that he was able to add his support to the event that we're holding to celebrate the achievements of women in defence and security, achievements that have been achieved against some pretty steep odds over the last few years, but we are now in a situation where I think we can celebrate some of those achievements, and I'm delighted and honoured that General Dempsey has agreed to speak to us. General, sir.
I said you're very kind, Professor. Thanks very much. In fact, so kind that I'm afraid I'm going to get in the car after this and drive back to the middle of London with Deanie, and she's going to say, who are they introducing? Who was that person you were talking about? We're delighted to be here, and my compliments again to RUSI. I have enjoyed over the past 3 years the opportunity to come and speak on a variety of occasions. And I'll tell you that what a wonderful setting, by the way, and I'll mention at the end of my brief remarks my appreciation for those of you that set this event up. But I mean, just if you could take a minute to absorb the setting here, it's kind of remarkable for those of us who grew up in Bayonne, New Jersey, you know, in the shadow of oil refineries. This is quite remarkable, and so we're delighted to be here, especially at this Christmas holiday season, and for this important event. Now, I had what I thought was a brilliant, in every way, actually, brilliant speech prepared. It was 35 or 40 minutes, but I promise you that had I delivered it, you would have just left here completely enthralled and persuaded by what I had to say. But then, here's the important point in all that. As I was contemplating during the cocktail hour giving this 35 or 40-minute speech, I met some people. I met Marjorie Cole initially. I met Marjorie Cole and Dorothy Hughes. And where are you two darlings? Would you please stand up? There's Dorothy Hughes. And where's Marjorie? Ladies, I'll tell you, this is my first chance to meet you. I think some in the room have had that honor in the past, have had the chance to meet you. But you are absolutely an inspiration to us. And you're part of the reason that we're here and that RUSI is sponsoring this event. Because your example, you know, your service to your country, and now your presence here as pensioners representing a generation that actually saved the world for civilization, could not be more impressive to Deanie and I. And I just want to thank you for the opportunity to meet you and for your presence here tonight. Thanks very much. And then the other reason I was convinced not to give my speech is I ended up sitting right here, and I sat here between Nikki Moffat and Margaret Stabe, and I'm telling you, I haven't been grilled like that since I appeared before the Senate Armed Services Committee as I was trying to be confirmed as the chairman, and I loved every moment of it. I just thought it was fascinating, important, and inspiring to have these two ladies who are the senior. Nikki is the senior female military officer in the British Army. Would you stand up, please? And Margaret is the senior military officer in the Australian Air Force. Would you stand up, please? Yeah. And I know they're embarrassed for me to point that out, but I'll tell you what, they are absolutely persuasive in their and zealous, but I use that phrase with great admiration, in helping me, and I hope you tomorrow, understand why it's not important that we embrace women in the security professions as a matter of equality. We're well beyond equality as the issue. It's about embracing women in the security professions because of what they bring, because of the diversity of thinking. And I think it was Nikki said to me at one point and completely rocked me back. I almost stopped drinking, but I fought through that. No, I'm kidding. And I know I'm on camera, and I got to stop joking about drinking. But I am Irish. What are you going to do? But at one point she said to me, wouldn't you want, you're the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the most powerful military in the world. Wouldn't you want the best minds available to solve the complex problems you're trying to solve? And I thought, checkmate. So here's a commitment I'll make to you, Professor. Because the other thing that they said to me as we're chatting around the table is they said to me, this is a wonderful event. But they said, I hope that tomorrow we're not in that hall talking to ourselves. Women talking to women about women's role in the security professions. Now, I'm not sure you wanted me to attribute that to you, but that's what four-star generals do, by the way. They get subordinates in a lot of trouble. The fact is, though, that's an excellent point. And so here's my commitment. I will work with you next year to be here not just for the dinner preceding this event, but also for the event itself, because I want to hear what you have to say. And I hope that I can get a copy, a transcript of this event tomorrow, because I would very, very much like to understand how we can do a better job of capturing that talent that is available with women, and as we try to help all of us understand how to get after these complex problems. So the other thing you need to know about Deanie and I personally is that this has been a lifelong commitment to this profession, and all three of our children have served in the military. Two of them are young ladies. My middle daughter was a transportation officer. My youngest was an engineer. We're very proud of that. So this is not only something I'm interested in as a chairman, but it's also something that I take very personally. The other thing I'll tell you is today is the anniversary of the birth of one of our most famous novelists in American history, Louisa May Alcott. And some of you may remember, she was born in 1832. Some of you may remember that she wrote a book called Little Women, and it was a groundbreaking, forward-leaning novel of the 19th century in America. She was also, though, in fact, little known about her was that she served her country in the Civil War, and she was one of the leading voices in America for women's suffrage in the early part of the 20th century. So today was her birthday, and how appropriate it is that I've had a chance here today to speak to you on her birthday. But the other thing about her is there's a quotation that I love at the end of the book, and it's in, if you ever want to look for it. Now, you'll probably Google it. I'm not capable of doing that myself. My staff might be able to Google it. But in chapter 13 in the book Little Women, this quotation appears. Chapter 13 of Little Women. It says this: if we are all alive 10 years hence, let's meet and see how many of us have got our wishes, or how much nearer we are to them than now. Isn't that profound? If we were to meet 10 years from now, what would women say about how much nearer they are to have their wishes, to contribute to our common challenges, and to help keep our nations collectively safe?